We've gained knowledge of Trade Federation activity on Alaris. But where there is one battle droid, there is frequently an army. It would be unwise to provoke the Trade Federation with an attack at this juncture. But we will need to upgrade our defenses in case they choose to provoke us. We are in no position to challenge the Trade Federation army. For now, we will concentrate on defending ourselves if they challenge us. First, we'll research basic training. Click on your command center. And click the basic training button. Research costs resources and takes time, but it is worth the effort. Your task will be to determine what you can afford to research and when. If you click on a worker, you'll see they have a new armor rating in the status area. Your workers will stand a better chance when the enemy attacks. Put your upgraded workers to the task of gathering food from the Muja fruit bushes. You'll need 500 food and 2 buildings from your current tech level to advance to a new technology level. Chewbacca's father has taken several warriors and gone scouting. While we await his return, we need to advance to the next technological level and repel any raids that the Trade Federation throws against us. It would be unwise to proceed before your warriors are stronger. I'm going to show you a few more ways to speed up the gathering of food. If you build a food processing center close to a source of food, your workers won't have to walk as far to deliver their food. Click on a worker, then on the Build button. Click Build Food Processing Center. Another source of food is farms. Have one of your workers build a farm. When the worker finishes his farm, he'll begin harvesting food from it. You need only one worker to harvest a farm. You can create a renewable source of food with an animal nursery. Click on a worker and have them build an animal nursery. If you have any nerfs standing around, you can herd them into your new animal nursery. Just select a nerf and right-click on the nursery. Animals in your nursery add to your food stores over time. The more nerfs you keep inside the nursery, the more food you'll get. You've met the requirements to advance to a new tech level. Click on your command center, then choose Advance to Tech Level 2. Chewbacca's father is back. He'll work his way back across the map. He says he spotted some battle droids lurking in the area.
Paul, you are ordered to come with us.
Battle droids. Attichituk has been shot down. But wait, I sense the spark of life in him still. Stay calm. In moments, we'll be able to create a medic. Then we can find Attichituk and bring him back. Okay, click on your command center and create a Wookiee medic. In addition, click on your troop center and choose Upgrade to Bowcaster Trooper. This research will make all your existing warriors more skillful. Now, assemble your warriors and your medic at the edge of town and go find Attichituk. We're approaching Trade Federation territory now. Stick together. Expect an attack at any time. If any of your troopers are badly wounded, you should take a moment to apply first aid. Click on your medic and right-click on the wounded unit to heal them. The medic that is near a wounded unit will automatically apply first aid. All battle. Take them down quickly. You found Chewbacca's father. He is critically wounded. We must heal him before he can move. He can move, but he is still weak. Beware of Trade Federation entanglements on the return trip. You should garrison Attichituk in your command center to keep him safe. Select Attichituk, click the garrison button, then click on your command center. I sense another attack coming. Gather your forces and be ready. Destroyer droids, they're very dangerous. You'll need all of your forces to get them back. The clouds of battle amass.